Hey everyone, Sky Knight here. Wanted to bring you my updated Noble Knight deck profile. I just got done with the regionals and unfortunately went X3 with it. Did pretty well after 5 rounds, but then I just got blown out by Necros and then Burning Abyss, which I got a crush card twice. So I still feel the deck is pretty competitive. I'm bringing this deck profile a week before World Superstars is coming out, and I will be doing kind of an updated profile, but it'll be more of a hybrid. I just don't see any actually direct support coming out that will really benefit the pure build of Noble Knights, but for different hybrids, particularly bringing the Heroic Champions, I still think there's great potential there. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and bring my updated profile. So, of course, we start off with 3 Merlin. You definitely want to max this out. It's just another Rhoda, as well as it enables you to OTK with this deck. And that's what I kind of treated this deck as, was an OTK base. Because if you got into a grind game, particularly with like Burning Abyss or even Necros, they will blow you out. Particularly with the Necros matchup, you can grind depending on how many resources they have available, but you want to potentially with Noble Knights try to finish off your opponent as fast as possible and not let them establish their board as well as grind things out. So you want to max this out so you're able to actually summon it, special tribute it off to special summon another monster, but keep this in the graveyard. So then when you're able to put out huge monsters, then you're able to OTK as well as exceed during your opponent's phase, as well as there's times where you just want to just keep this in the graveyard and keep Noble Knights on the field before exceeding into one of the kings. So when they target you with different kind of card effects and you don't have Excalibur on the field, you're able to kind of dodge that effect. So then next, you 3 Madron. Of course, the main engine are the main card within the Noble Knight engine. So pretty much when it's with the equip card, special summon a Noble Knight to defense and destroy the equip card. And as a basic combo base, you get a Noble Arms card that's able to re-equip, and you bring out Boars, search out your Noble Arms, and you're able to go into rank 5 King pretty easily. Usually the card you're searching out is Boars. I'm only running 2 copies. And the reasoning behind this is that really you only need to get Boar's effect off once. Once you get its effect off once, you're able to get a couple arms into the graveyard, then you have all the fodder you need. Particularly, you don't want to do it multiple times just because then you empty out all your arms and you really don't have anything left unless you are able to go into multiple different kings and bring them out. So I feel like 2 is a great number. I want to go, you could go possibly 3, but I feel like 2 is just a perfect number, especially with all the other cards you need to be running. So then I run a lot of 1-ofs. I run Dryston when equipped, able to pop a face-up card, which is, it can be pretty handy, especially if you're trying to get rid of certain like trap cards, or even they just have just a huge monster out there you can't get rid of. And 1 Gwaine to allow rank 4 plays pretty easily. And then 1 Bedreer. Bedreer really enables for OTKs just because they're able to move that arms, particularly with Gallatin. But also there's times where you just, the biggest weakness of this deck is that you don't have a way of really searching out your arms. There's really 1 card here, which is Black Lonzo, that's able to search out particular arms as well as Boris, but you don't have the consistency to be able to get the arms. So sometimes you just want to start with Bedreer to dump an arm into the grave. So then if you needed to go into any of your Xyz, you have at least 1 arms to get back to be able to equip. So then do run the Black Lonzolin. This card, honestly, I think you need this card still, only because it allows you to search out your arms relatively quick, as well as it's a 2000k beater. And it could put in a lot of work, especially with Shaddoll's the way they are now. They're starting to make more of a presence, so sometimes you just want to be able to sit on a big stick without going into your Xyz monsters. So this is where I was just really using Black Lonzolin against my Shaddall matches up. Then Brothers, I still feel like Brothers gives you a lot of OTK potential as well. Sometimes you will brick with Noble Knights quite a bit. And brothers can allow you just to sit on them for a little bit until you're able to get the cards that you need to be able to go off. Then I run one Ichitar. I'm kind of hit and miss with Ichitar, to be truthful, just because I don't know. I wish there was a better card, but honestly, I'm still running it just because it gives me it gives me discard fodder, because I do run Mass Change in here, as well as I do have Foolish Burial, so it allows you to just kind of put another monster out there, especially when you get into deeper games. So honestly, like, I don't like this card in early game. I love it in late game, because that's where it shines. Then I do run one Lady of the Lake. I still think a Noble Knight Black Lonzelin is still a great card, just because it allows you different searches. But so I use this also for discard fodder, as well as Foolish Burial targets. So, and then I only won one Gwynnifer. Now I do cite in a second one. The reason behind this is that I wanted more re-equips of Noble Arms. And honestly, there was just not enough banishing effects out there anymore that I saw that really would hurt, you know, get rid of one queen. And even if I get into a matchup, particularly like Burning Abyss or even Yusenju that use macro and defissure as well as Spiritual Beast, I was just citing my other queens, because I know they're running all the all the banishing effects and everything. So currently I only won one, but I do run one extra re-equip Noble Arms. So that's my monster lineup. Now, moving on to the spells. So, definitely one Raigeki and one Dark Hole. You need to run mass destruction effects within this deck, just because you need to clear board, especially against Necros. If they do put a degen lock on you, it's not that big as devastating as you think, just because with Noble Knights, you're able just to set one monster and just to re-equip it and make it a big beat stick. And it's extremely hard for them to get over with. Now, when you're definitely playing certain matchups, especially with Necros and everything, you do have to be wary of what they are going to try to do, which is most likely Trishul you. So you either have to be cautious, because you're gonna load your grave up with Noble Arms, especially if you use wars and everything like that. So the best way to really play around that is to empty out your hand. So, but on top of that, you do need mass destruction effects, because when I do try to push for OTK, I want to clear the board so I am able to put as much damage as possible. And then one Foolish. Foolish is still necessary in this in Noble Knights, because you're able to dump Gwynnifer. There's still multiple targets: Gwynnifer, Lady of the Lake, as well as Ichitar. Then, of course, the obligatory 3 Rhoda. You got to be able to search out. You got plenty of you have plenty of search power for your monsters and everything. Then I do run 2 MSTs. I do cite in the third, but my tech card is actually released Restraint Wave. The reason why I like running this is just because with the re-equips and everything, I'm able to clear all their back row, especially when you're playing. I did play a Volcanic matchup, and this just put in so much work. When you're able to clear out 4 or 5 back row in a hurry, that's what I really love about it. Especially, you know, the format is becoming a little bit slower. People are putting in a lot more traps than that's what I'm seeing. So I potentially like doing that. Then I'm running 2 Last Chapters. Last Chapters is a great rebuttal card. Noble Arms. So running the 2 Excalibur. Doesn't allow your opponent to target your monsters. Pretty excellent. Running the 2 Destiny. Protect, being destroyed twice a turn. Then I'm actually running 2 Gallatin, and this is where I took the other queen and put another Gallatin in. Reason being this is that having that extra 1,000 attack just is so devastating against other decks, especially when you need to punch over certain things like Burning Abyss. When they're sitting on that on Dante with the 2,500 defense, you need to be able to just punch over it, as well as there's just certain cards out there that are just going to put, they're going to just builds huge boards, and you just need to be able to punch over it, as well as having that OTK potential. If you're able to put, you know, both of them out there, you're able to put massive damage out there and finish games off real quick. With the re-equipping too, to be able to go into your combo plays, that's why I really love just running the 2 Gelatons. Offer Deter, being able to clear back row still I feel like it's, you need, one's just plenty enough. I want to go any more, and then 1 Caliburn for life point gain. I was messing around with trying to go with 2 of Caliburn and only 1 of Gallatin, but I just find it more often that I need 1,000 attack points than I do the life point gain. And then for the final spells, I run the 3 mass change too. This allows you to go into the different mask heroes, which I'll explain later. But the reason I'm running 3 is I need for consistency base. There are times, yes, this could be cloggy, but also, as you can see, I don't run round table. The reason being is because mass change allows me to dump into the graveyard by having, you know, multiple targets to include. I can use Noble Arms, as well as Guinevere, Lady of the Lake. There's multiple targets I'm able to, you know, throw in there, and that's why I don't feel like round table is necessary anymore. So that's why I use the mass change. You know, I max it out because I want to see it as fast as possible, because this will allow you to get into some of the power cards that augment the Noble Knight deck for the Noble Knight deck, because on its own, it has enough pieces to be competitive, but it lacks certain abilities to be able to take on certain decks, particularly the meta. And that's where you need the masked heroes to really augment and help you in those matchups. So there's all the spells, and then to wrap it up, I do play 2 traps. Ring of Destruction, Vanity's Emptiness. Vanity's Emptiness, still a very powerful card. If you're able to put, you know, King out there, equip them with, you know, a bunch of cards, as well as flip out Vanities, good luck for them trying to beat you. And then Ring of Destruction. The reason I have this in here is because, like I said before, I'm trying to make this a more OTK base, and I want to be able to clear out monsters and put up, you know, damage. I don't mind taking the damage, because if I can clear out their monster and then be able to push next turn for push for game, as well as being able to clear certain monsters. In particular, I use this several times against Dark Law, because Dark Law can really ruin you because you need to search a lot. So that's what I have in there. So that's just 40 cards. Now the extra deck. Extra deck is actually really tight. So of course you run the 2 Ortorigus Noble Knight Kings. Being able to clear back row is especially well. Then I do run the 2 Secret Kings, pretty much your powerhouse 5 beat stick. I do run the 1 Ignoble Knight of Black Lonsland, because I do run Lady of the Lake. I still feel like this is a very great card, because you're able to search out, especially last chapter, to have a rebuttal play once because most likely you're not. It's very hard to, you know, really sit on a monster like they say, you know, kind of helmet deck, where if you try to sit on him, players know how to get around Noble Knights now. They know how to really deal with it and everything. So you have to be able to think a couple plays ahead what happens when they clear your board, because you can't just be thinking that I can sit on this monster and win the game, because it's just not going to win anymore. You have to be able to think, okay, I'm gonna, you know, I have King here, I'm able to put some damage, but what am I going to do once this clears out? So that's why I like, you know, when I can, I go into him to be able to search out my last chapters, as well as start, you know, preparing for my next move. Then I do run 1 Gaia, just because when you use all his overlay units, you see over him, let your noble arms drop off. But if you had like a noble knight card on the field, which is usually what I try to do, I summon a noble knight, I overlay him, let the noble knights drop off, and they'll re-equip back onto him. You're able to push for a lot, you know, some big damage. 1 exit time, because you need a clear board. Castell's still very good because you want to clear out, especially you're going to start seeing Shadal's more and more, and I know with World Superstars running the Star Seraphs, you got to be able to bounce their stuff back to their deck and not let them get their effects to plus up. Star Leash Polydynamo, I still feel it was really necessary because there's just times where there's effects you just can't get over and you need to just knock their effects off, and then you're able to put 2,000 damage. Abyss Dweller, just because I knew I was probably going to be playing a lot of Burning Abyss, which surprisingly I didn't. I did play one. I did go to him once, it really felt helpful. Bujin Tsukanami. Reason for running him is you will brick, and when I mean brick, it's usually because you don't have any noble arms. You're able to search out all the noble knights you need, so sometimes you just need to go into him to be able to, you know, dump your hand to be able to draw 2, so you're able to go further into your deck to be able to go your noble arms. So that's why you run it. Then I still run Ragna Zero. The reason why is I don't feel like Cleaforce was dead totally because of the ban list. And surprisingly enough, there was quite a few Cleafort players there. I didn't face any of them, but I just wanted this option to be able to handle their monsters in case they came out. Now, for the Mask Heroes, I do run the one Inky. I do like Inky in here because he's able to attack for 1400 directly, as well as be able to search out your other mass change. So, as well as a 2800, you know, body, it really helps out. Now, the power card, the Dark Law, he is just such a powerful card against every deck possible. I would love to try to run 2 with him, it's just I don't have the space. But with him, you know, being able to be a Macrocosmos for your opponent's field, as well as when they start searching out stuff, being able to take 1 from their hand, it's very, you know, crucial. So that's why I try to max out on mass change and get to this card as fast as possible, because you know, this ruins games for people. And then I do run the one Koga. I wanted an out for towers. There, you know, I can get Noble Knights and then equip them with the couple Gallatin and other power-up cards to get over, but I also wanted another way of trying to get over towers if possible, as well as just be able to push for, you know, huge damage, especially, you know, you're able to mass change during your during the battle phase and being out to bring out one of these bad boys to put in even more damage. So it just allows you for OTK potentials. So that's the extra deck. As for the side deck, I was messing around with it and everything. This is probably very incomplete, so I wouldn't, you know, take it for value, but this is what I kind of took. I did have 3 share rides. I wanted more draw power against Necros. Be able to really take them out. There's the one other Queen. Then I did sight in 2 Royal Decrees. If they were back row heavy, especially like Yusenjus and everything, I just put these in just to be able to knock them out. I do play the other Dark Hole and the other MST, and then I do run Dimensional Fizzer, especially, you know, Burning Abyss and Shadal's, being able just to take out their monsters, not them get their effects. I did have the 3 Night Beams, just clearing out back row, and as you can tell, back row can really hurt this deck because it's a combo based deck, so if you ruin any of the combo pieces, it just really hurts the deck, as well as not being able to establish your board. If you're not able to establish it, you can get wrecked pretty fast. And then I was running 3 Forbidden Lance as well, more back row hate, as well as to basically, you know, kind of protect your Noble Knights, especially against like Skill Drain or Breakthrough Skill, or even Forbidden Chalice is what I saw. So that's why I kind of ran it. And so that kind of completes it and everything. I would love to hear your feedback, what you think I can maybe improve on the deck. I'm always looking to improve Noble Knights, trying to make it as competitive as possible. And that should wrap it up. Alright. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.